This podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 251. We are recording on Wednesday, February 19th, 2014. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Holy Goalie and Nick DiNicola.
What's up, guys?
You're back. We missed you.
Kind of, yeah.
You sound much better than last week.
Thank you. Yeah, I do feel a little bit better. You know what was weird is I was sitting here and I'm like, am I just a bitter old man that's just getting crotchety in my old age?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay. Yeah. The answer to that question is yes. But luckily they keep all these statistics out here on the news with snow and stuff, and they said that we've gotten snow in 9 of the last 16 days.
Yep.
And
no, you're getting hammered, and you're about to get hammered again.
Yeah, and when they said that, I think it was as of December 1st, from like where we are now, the snowfall that we usually get is like 40 inches, and we already have 75. So I mean, we're nearly at twice the snowfall. The cold has been all over the country. So I could be bitter and old and grumpy and crotchety and all that, but I have every right to be considering the statistics they are pushing forward for this winter.
Goalie.
So it's been ugly. It's been angry. I've been bitter. I've been very bitter.
Goalie, it's 70 degrees here today.
Kiss my ass.
How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you ever do bad?
Not really.
So what's this thing with the blizzard that you had to do? I got on and you were talking to customer service, which is a crazy concept of Blizzard's customer service.
My account was locked because I guess there was some suspicious activity like months ago, sometime in like very early January. And I tried to unlock it, but realized I had forgotten my password and the answer to my security question. And since there was no Blizzard game that I really wanted to play, I thought, fuck, not worth the trouble. Fast forward to now, and I want to play Hearthstone, their free-to-play card game, so I can talk about it on my Pop Matters podcast. But my account was still locked. So yesterday, I tried to just submit a ticket to get it solved, just online. But no one had gotten back to me by today. So today I put in all the information again and said, call me. Because apparently the customer help opens at 10. And so I got in right when there was, a 2-minute wait time. And called me in 2 minutes. I had to upload my ID to show that it was me since I had forgotten everything else. But yeah, once he had that, he just unlocked everything, reset the password, security question, and everything was good. So
Nice.
Yeah, Blizzard customer service actually help customers.
Go figure.
What a novel concept.
Well, they certainly have the money to hire people.
That's true.
Your World of Warcraft dollars at work.
No, your World of Warcraft.
That's true.
I've never put in for World of Warcraft.
So yeah, if I sound a little weird, it's because I'm hopped up on goofballs today. I hurt my back. Bad. Yeah, lifting my dad off the turlet and onto his wheelchair, and strained my back. So I was 2 days lying on my back, and those 2 days I spent playing Outlast with the lights on.
Oh, this is awesome.
On.
Didn't I tell you that? I don't know if it was last week or the week before. Didn't I tell you that this game I have to play in doses because I am getting into it. Now, what I've been talking to people at the rink last night about Outlast. I was like, if you want to turn on the lights and have a beer and have people over and make fun of the game, yes, it's not a scary game. But if you play alone and you play at night and you have either the lights off or just maybe a dim light. I usually have a dim light downstairs when I play. Mm-hmm. And you let yourself get sucked into this game, it is a scary game.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the atmosphere. I don't know how far along you are, but I finally got the security card to get into the security room. Mm-hmm. And instinctively, when I saw the guy in the monitor, I hid. And it's a good thing I did. I'm not going to spoil anything, but holy shit. I did not want to come out of that closet. And then I had to get down to the basement, and I'm just hiding in the dark, and I'm just like, shit. So, is that how you're doing it too?
Yeah.
Do you ever close your eyes?
I don't ever close my eyes. I'm eyes wide open on that game. But
shut my eyes. You can't see me.
I have been twitching it because, and I've actually put the camera up so you could see me, and I have to lie back because I have to lie down for my back. But I have been twitching it because, and I noticed it mostly on the first night, which was just at the very beginning, and then I had to go into that water-filled room and turn on the breakers and stuff.
Yeah, that's where I am right now, too, and I'm like...
wow, you're really early in.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I play 10 minutes, and whether I live or die, I have to stop and actually walk around the house because I'm that into it.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah, it's... And I'll say that... And I've characterized that there's two different kinds of scares. There's the oh fuck, running, hiding. Please don't see me. Please don't see me in this locker. Please don't open the locker door. Please don't open the locker door. And then there's the booga booga screams, where you're walking along and something jumps out at you. Booga booga. And the section that you're in was mostly booga booga screams. And those are really funny for me to watch because I'm a screamer. I'm not going to lie. And the whole time I'm playing, I don't like these games. Why am I here? I don't want to be here. Which I have a respect for the game because the point of the game, once you're inside the building, is to get the fuck out, which doesn't insult my intelligence because when I was thinking, I want to, if I was, my point was, I want to find out what's going on in here. It's like, no. If this was me in this building, fuck this building. I'm out. I am out. I'm gone. And I like the fact that once you get in, you realize you do not want to be here. You need to get out of here. And that's the whole point of the game is get the hell out of this building. And you can't.
Like any story development would just be like tangential to you getting the fuck out.
Right, exactly. So I'm once I died the first time or the first couple times, it kind of took the edge off of being scared. And I don't want to say I'm not scared. I am. It's a very, very, very scary game. But it's once I died a couple times, it had made it a little bit easier because then I wasn't quite so creeped out by it.
Well, that's what death does. Horror games. That's the weird thing about death and horror.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something in every horror game, I think.
Once you've kind of popped that cherry, you're okay.
Yeah. It's like everything builds up to you dying. It's like I don't want to die. And then you die, you come back and you're like, okay, that's good. That bubble has been popped. Now I'm good.
Yeah. And
it's like getting to a save point in Resident Evil. Mm-hmm. Like the way that game worked, inch along thing was a save point. I don't want to die and lose all this progress. And then you get to a save point and you save, and then you're like, yeah, I could fuck around for the next 5 minutes because I just save point. So bring it on, game.
Yep.
And what I appreciate about this game, I played it for an hour last night, is that there is no save point. Yeah. There are no save points. Mm-hmm. There's no checkpoints. Instead, you can save anywhere.
Right.
And that strikes me as really, really smart, because then there's no point where you're playing the game and then, you hit some part and it says saving and you think, okay, now I'm safe. Now I'm good. Like, it's kind of on you to create that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But even when you create that moment and you save manually, it doesn't quite feel, it doesn't have that same relief as hitting that checkpoint or getting to those save points,
right.
I think, at least for me.
Yeah, it's a very cleverly built game, and
Yes.
I can honestly say I have never played a video game. I've played some creepy ones and some eerie ones, but I don't think I've ever been really scared. And I know that sounds stupid because it's just a video game, but I mean, I've never been sucked into a game. The only thing I can compare it to is I think in Oblivion or Skyrim. I think it was Oblivion. There was a couple of times where like you descended into a dungeon,
mm-hmm.
and I remember then the wife was watching me play, and she's like, "Oh, get on and check out that dungeon." I'm like, no way, no way. It's like, I'm not that high of a level. If I get out there, I'm gonna die, And I remember being creeped, like, so I went down in there, opened the door, and I go through slowly, and you hear stuff in the dungeon, and you're looking around, and that's the only other time that I've really kind of been skeeved out playing a game, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to die down here. But that's how Outlast is. It really, they do a good job of the heavy breathing and the atmosphere and just
the music. When you start hearing oboe, you're fucked.
Yeah,
Yeah, I fucking hate that your character keeps breathing heavy, because every time I hear it, it's like, oh wait, there's something new. No, that's just
me.
Fucking
Yeah.
learn to breathe through your mouth, not your nose.
And I've been also I made Creation Chaos play on the Twitch feed last night, and I watched him, and it is as fun to watch as it is to play. Now, he actually started from way behind me and just zoomed past me. So I've seen what's about to come, but it's funny watching someone else play it versus me. I am crouched and sneaking everywhere.
Really?
I am playing it so slowly.
I am too.
Just moving really slow and just sneaking around and just taking all the the shadows and hanging out in the shadows. And it's like, okay, what's in this room? What's in this room?
Well, I think he's played it before.
Has he? I don't think so.
I think so. I thought he told me that he had played it with his cousin.
I don't know, because he didn't seem to know where he was going when I was watching it. And, he's playing it super fast. He's just pretty much running from place to place to place to place, which is interesting because it makes you see how, I don't want to say easy, but it is kind of easy to get away from the things that are chasing you if you just keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
But he is running through the whole thing, and I am going very slowly.
I am too.
Getting through all of the corners,
Well,
and
he also-
hiding under all the beds.
I think, because I was hearing you talk, and when I started playing it too, is when you were watching him on the Twitch stream, and I had to take off my headphone and just throw it away and make it, dangle so that I couldn't hear you.
Right.
Because, I don't know, talking while
Right.
playing
Breaks the
again,
spell.
alleviates that tension and doesn't make it as scary.
Yeah.
Even just listening to people talk
Yeah,
alleviates
you
that
need to kind of play this kind
I
of
don't-
all by yourself. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Turn off
enjoyed
the
playing
volume.
it with on Twitch because I knew that I know I was screaming loud, like to a point of where Kevin had to come in and check on me, going, "Is everything okay? Because it sounds like you're being murdered in here." It's like you've seen a mouse, like big screams. And I said, make sure that if your mom asks, because my mother-in-law lives downstairs, and it's like if she asks, just let her know that it's okay. It was a video game. It was not a rat infestation or anything like that. But yeah, it was definitely super scary the first night. Not so much later. I probably could play it with the lights off. But if I played it with the lights off, then I wouldn't be able to have the camera on me, which I think is probably very entertaining to see me just screaming my ass off.
Yeah, I always thought about either twitching that or a Tomb Raider or something. I haven't twitched in a while since I've been sick.
Yeah, so you have not seen the dangling penis brothers, the lumpy penis brothers?
In this game?
Yeah.
I think either of us have.
I haven't got very far. Like I said, I'm downstairs in the basement trying to turn on the generator.
All right,
And what
you're
was
nowhere
really
near 'em.
cool is when I got the first one on and I hid, and then I walked out and I went into the water and I was making too much noise in the water and the guy killed me.
Yeah.
And I let myself die. I was like, I could run away, but I said, I'm just going to die here because I need to take a break. I'm sorry, but I really am digging this.
You alleviate that tension.
I've never really played a survival horror game. I tried to play that Amnesia one time, and that was just okay. You know, on the PC there, that was okay, but it didn't really do it. And again, I this is just something kind of new for me, so I'm like, yeah, this is great.
And I'm really having a good time putting together the clues because, of course, you run across. By the way, his notes that he makes. If you have to keep the camera up the whole time because when he sees things through the camera, that's when he quote unquote documents it into his notes. So he will make personal notes that are hilarious. But the documents you find all the way along really do a good job of teasing what's going on. And like, well, I'm not going to wreck anything, but if you look at things like dates and places, you start to see there's something happening here. You start to see that where the origins of whatever's going on in this mental facility is, or I should say research facility.
Really? Because I've found a couple documents, but I've ignored like the date and location and just read the document itself.
Yeah, the document itself is interesting, but it's all the little details that help you start to see, oh, I see this guy started out in this place at this time. He was born here. There's one obituary that is that started to put things into place for me, where I started to see where he was born and when he was born and how old he was at a certain point in history. And you go, okay, all right, okay, I can see this. So, super freaking scary. And
Yep.
I am now that I'm over my booga scares, kind of interested to find out more about what's going on. So they've done a good job of teasing the story to get you sort of interested in the story as well as interested in getting the hell out. So it's really well written, well designed game. I hated the fact that there was no combat, but I'm now kind of used to it. So it's working well. I highly recommend it. It is definitely worth the price of free.
I'd pay. I don't know.
I'd pay money for it.
I wouldn't pay $60 for this game. But,
No.
It's not $60.
It's a $15, $20 game.
Yeah,
easily.
definitely.
Yeah, I think it is $15 normal price.
Yeah. $15 is well worth it. So, yeah, that's what I did is for 2 days. I got a day off of dealing with my dad, so I got 2 days in a row, and I pretty much laid on my back and watched House of Cards during the day, and in the evenings I would play Outlast. By the way, House of Cards this season, I'm going to say it, I mean, it's good.
Blasphemy.
Huh?
Blasphemy.
I know. But
I haven't seen the second season.
it's good. It's of course it's freaking Kevin Spacey. It's freaking Robin Wright. They're just so good. All the ensemble cast is amazing in this. That being said, I think that they've made some mistakes. They're not employing the dropping of the fourth wall, which is what made really is the signature of this series. Is that the Kevin Spacey character, Frank Underwood, brings you in on the conspiracy in that very Hitchcockian way of like making you root for the bad guy. And so it becomes like Hitchcock meets Macbeth in that way. So it meets Richard III. So it's just kind of that first season really just like grabbed you and brought you in and made you an unwitting conspirator with him. The one person he could trust, the one person he could speak to and tell you what he's doing and why he's doing it in such a compelling way that you want him to succeed at this horrible stuff. This season, they do it, but it's not as effective when they do it, and it's not as frequent. So, it's almost like he's abandoning you. And now you're just watching an incredibly reprehensible character that you're becoming more and more and more, what's the word I want? Offended by. You're not with him anymore. You're almost against him. And, the story's starting to get muddy. Really muddy. They kind of throw in almost too much. I wish they'd taken out some of the elements that are going on this season. Because now it's a really confused jumble. I don't think that they did a really good job of keeping you abreast of the conspiracies and the different chess pieces that are being moved on the board. You're just a spectator now. At least that's how I felt this season. So, still a great story. Kept me up even after playing Outlast. It kept me up thinking about the game or about the story. So it's definitely one of the best things on, I guess it would be technically television. It's the best things on your television. How about that? But it's not as good as the first season. Yep. And it's such a departure from the original. In fact, I was talking to Nick about this last night. I was reading a really good article, and I can't remember if it was Gawker or somewhere else. Maybe it was The Atlantic, but there was a very good article about somebody who actually went back. And it's kind of funny reading any other article that complains about what happens, and I'm not going to wreck it, but what happens in the first episode, complaining about it. And what happens in the first episode is, if you've seen the original, that's straight out of the original. So I knew what was going to happen eventually. And other people were very offended that this happened because it kind of wrecked the story for them. Because it was kind of like the Red Wedding in that it chucks out some of the tropes, some of the rules that you expect from television shows. But this guy had, in the Atlantic or Gawker or whatever, had said that unlike most people, he'd actually, in the interim between the two seasons, had gone back and watched the original. And you think that this American remake is good, and then you see the original. And it's the difference. He equates it to the difference between the original Office and the American remake of The Office. And not that the American remake wasn't good, but it was an entirely different beast, the original. And with Ricky Gervais versus Stephen Carell. And same thing. It's like that, where it's a different beast entirely. And I think it's far more, and I keep using this phrase, delicious of the original. And there's three parts. Well, technically it's 3 different series. So I guess you could consider it 3 seasons, but it was 3 different series.
Yeah, British call this season series.
Right. And they all had different names. Like House of Cards was just the first one, and then there was like To Make a King and something else. So it's if you've already gone through the original the House of Cards, the American House of Cards, if you've already gotten through that whole season, do yourself a favor, because you've got a year to wait for the next batch. You got a lot of time. Go get House of Cards, and in the British version, it's not that old. It was made in the 90s. And get that, and was it made in the 90s? I think the later ones were made in the 90s. I think the earlier ones were made in the 80s. But the original House of Cards, and then the other 2 the other two follow-ups, and I can't remember the other two follow-up stories. But get those. Get those. And I don't think it's going to wreck too much about what you know with House of Cards, the UK, the American version, except possibly how the whole thing's going to end. But I think that's pretty self-evident of what's going to happen. Let's face it, we're watching. It's freaking Macbeth meets Richard III. This won't end well. Mm-hmm. We all know this. It's not how it ends. It's how it got to that end that makes it interesting. So, all right.
Like, speaking of TV shows,
yeah?
You guys still watching Helix?
I never started watching Helix.
That is, it's like turned into an octopus now.
Too complicated?
That's a good way to put it.
It's, the wife watches it before me because I work Saturday mornings, so she DVRs it on Friday and then watches it Saturday mornings, and then she's like, "Oh, you're not gonna like it." So we watch. It's like it's about the Arctic base where there's a virus that's gone crazy, and the CDC's in there trying to clean it up, and you got the CDC in there, but you also have special interest groups, and then you have the military. So you have all these hands in the pie. So you're trying to figure out what were they trying to do here, and what was it for, and is it to cure cancer, or is it for military reasons? And so it's a great premise because it's out in the Arctic, and I love, like, it's almost like The Thing, you know what I mean, where you're out in the Arctic, you're kind of isolated, and you got to solve the problem yourself, and there's no cell phones, but it just, it's spidered out to the twin brother, and oh my gosh, now there's missing kids that we have just introduced, and it just spidered out into 8 different sub-stories.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
not...
think it's too much. I think it's too much. I think
kind of not just the virus anymore.
Yep.
It's kind of like it seems there are other conspiracies or other secret things going on. And what's kind of funny about the last episode is that the one before it, I thought, okay, this is kind of getting a little too absurd. And then with the most recent episode, I thought, okay, it's gotten kind of so absurd now. I think it's starting to circle back on itself and become so absurd that it's entertaining in a different kind of way.
Yeah, I mean, it did. The one episode I almost tuned out because you can't introduce 4 different storylines.
Right, that's what I was talking about, being muddy.
Yeah, so you're 4 or 5 episodes in, you got a grasp on the characters, you see what's going on, and then it just went off into 4 or 5 new directions, and it's like, so you're right, it's getting away from the virus, which is what we all want to find out what it is, and now it's all about the people and the story, and they've introduced all these new things, and it's like, but then they, like Nick said, they circled back around and tried to tie them all in like the next week.
Yeah,
so they kind of like went out on a limb and then come back in and brought all the leaves in,
It's like, you kind of there, maybe enough to keep me with you.
Enough to keep me another episode, but I hate it when they do that in movies where it's like, oh, the twin brother, or the kid under the stairs that you've never seen, or the whatever. It was a terrific show. Now it's just an okay show.
The first 3 episodes are fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yep. It's just really good. It's like, do they have the cure? Do they not? What is the deal? Why is this guy killing this person? And it was really good. And now they've introduced like several new characters into this story. And it's just, I don't know where they're going with it. And I don't know. But yeah, I'm kind of bummed because you guys got me all hooked on that. Or Nick did, actually.
Yeah, well, it started real good, and I was real happy. And then it's kind of, I agree with you. It kind of, I don't know, kind of jumped the shark.
Yeah, in a hurry.
Yeah, like very quickly.
In one episode.
Well, as long as we're talking about TV shows, I'm going to recommend True Detective to everyone.
I saw an article about True Detective and how it related to some very, I don't want to say obscure, but I've never heard of it, but that doesn't mean anything, like sci-fi series of stories that were super weird.
Yeah, I'd say it's weird fiction. It's kind of the genre.
Uh-huh.
It's a detective show, obviously, and what's cool is that I guess it's an anthology show, so next season is completely different with new cast, new case, and everything. So, this case will be solved by the end of this season. But what makes it real great is just the tone of it. Like, one of the characters is this ultra nihilistic guy, and like Matthew McConaughey plays him, and he just, to use your word, it's delicious. Just watching him talk about the sort of darkness and the sad, horrible fate of mankind is just weirdly addictive. Like, you want to watch him, and he talks about like humans are just kind of this genetic anomaly, and it would be in all of our best interests if we just all agreed to stop having kids and hold our hands and walk into death together. We'd be doing the universe a favor. And the article you mentioned, what it was referencing is this series of short stories called The King in Yellow. Mm-hmm. And The King in Yellow is a fictional play within these series of short stories. And what the play is that the first act is kind of this spooky honeypot story. So it's a spooky story that gets people curious and gets people watching it. But then the second act reveals some horrible truth about the universe that drives everyone who watches it insane. Mm-hmm. And that seems to really fit this the theme of the show, is that, the truth is horrible, and that the truth will drive you insane, and that the truth is not something you want to find. And it's very, very well done. It's hard, like everything you could use to describe it, like the plot and the characters, makes it sound like a typical detective show, but it's the way it's executed, and it's the way the characters develop within the story that just makes it so damn good. Mm-hmm. You, I think, especially would like it.
I'm definitely. It's on the bucket list of stories I'm going to start reading. I've got so much stuff to read.
I do too. I bought all these books. I haven't read none of them. I bought all these books. And it's like, oh, this is going to be great. I just haven't had the attention span to read.
You don't have to read the series of short stories to get the show. I mean, the show is fine without that.
I know, but the short stories almost sound more compelling to me. Not that the show doesn't sound compelling. The show sounds very compelling.
Trust me. Watch like 2 episodes of the show, and then you'll be like, whoa, what the fuck have I been missing?
All right. And that is that on broadcast television or on Netflix?
It's HBO.
Okay. All right.
Turning back to video games real quick.
Oh yeah, video games.
Wait, why are we going to talk about video games?
Aside from Outlast, I've been going back to the Tomb Raider on PS4.
Yeah. By the way, it's on sale $40 now on Amazon.
Such a good game.
Yeah, I know. I should really pick it up.
I played it on the 360 last year, and as I mentioned, I loved it, and I bought it again. You know what I mean? So this is the second time I bought this game. It is so smooth on the PS4. It is, I forgot about all the different things in this game that you can do. Excuse me. I'm just loving it again. I love finding the hidden. They're not dungeons, but they're I don't know what they're called there. But you go into this. I guess it is a no, not a dungeon. What are they called?
What?
When you find the treasure in there, and there's a little hidden. Tombs, yes, Tomb Raider, hence the name Tomb Raider. Thank you, Nick. I know.
I still love that after you find the treasure, it says Tomb Raider.
It's just, but you go in there, and what's fun is you find these little tombs. You don't have to go into them. That's the great thing. But if you want to, it's like a little side mission. So it's funny. You get a call. It's like, quick, Lara, come get me. They're about to sacrifice me. Okay, I'll be right there. Soon as I raid this tomb. So luckily, it's not a time thing. Like, really take your time in this game and explore. And whether you rush to the girl to save her or you don't, it's not going to affect too much. So that's what's kind of fun. So I'm like, yeah, I'll be there in a minute. But each tomb has got a little puzzle you have to solve because usually the treasure is way up high, and you got to figure out how do you get up there. And whether it's like shooting a rope or it's like using a weight and pulley system to get up there, and I actually forgot because I solved all the puzzles in the last one. I actually forgot. I had to kind of really think about how to solve these puzzles again. But they're not so ridiculously hard that you storm out. You kind of just play around a little bit and figure out, okay, I see what they're doing here. Now, how do I do this? And how many things do I put here? But it's not easy peasy, but it's not ridiculously hard. So it's kind of it's almost a right difficulty degree, if you would. And there's usually not a lot of danger in the tombs too, so you can kind of take your time. It's not like you're fighting off scorpions and spiders. Usually, it's usually just how do I get up there? So Tomb Raider is great. I love how you can jump on the walls. Everything in white you can climb or jump on with the axe. They did a really good job of spelling out where you can go and what you can do, which I love because it's like, okay, well, if I jump on here, I can get it with my axe and climb up here. Then I jump over here and I can do a kick jump over here because it's all white. And then I can shoot my arrow over here into the ropes and climb down. And it's really spelled out really nice. So, again, I am really enjoying between Outlast and Tomb Raider. I'm bouncing back and forth. Oh, my gosh, Nick, you got me excited to play Killzone again. And I think I texted
like telling you how bad it was?
Yes, because I don't know what it is. I don't know why I want to finish this game because I'm not having any fun. I don't like the story. I don't care about the story. I didn't know anything about Killzone. I think I know less about Killzone now that I played it, if that's possible. And so I'm like, oh, damn it, I'm going to play this. I played 10 or 15 minutes the other day, and I just sat there, and I was just like, why don't I just go put bleach in my eyes? Because that's how much fun I have with this game.
Wow.
Seriously, I as much fun as I'm having, I could probably go watch any of these shows that Edie's recommending to me. I'd have more fun.
Good. My shows are great.
Yeah, okay.
Fuck.
Yeah, I love English humor. Hello, I'm going to have a spot of tea.
Wait a minute, humor? When did I ever talk about English humor?
It's a bloody horror movie. Oh, no, I dropped my cube of sugar next to my tea. But anyway, so I tried to play this game, and I get to the next checkpoint. And it's just everything I've said about this game. And I actually sat there this time and I looked around and said, okay, I'm going to sit and just look around and find out why I don't like this game. And the graphics are just too damn busy. That's what it is. Because I look at Tomb Raider and I look at Battlefield and I look at all these other shooter games that I play or adventure games. And everything's nice and sharp and clear and it's kind of spelled out a little bit. This game, it just seems like the palette is so busy. It's just busy. And you can't see the guys coming at you until they start shooting at you because it just seems like there's so much going on. It's just really weird. It's hard to describe. It's just not clear. And like Nick said, the graphics aren't bad, but I just think it's just so busy. And like Nick, you pointed out that I didn't even pick up on, they put all these people on this side of the planet and it's a wasteland.
Yeah.
How did it become a wasteland? Is it like Fallout or something like that? I mean, why did it turn into ghetto?
Did the guys blow it up because they just like blowing stuff up?
Yeah. And you know what I think the other thing that probably turns me off the most about this game is the voice acting. It is all the soldiers have the exact same voice. Stand in line. Stand straight up. Every time
they do.
Stand straight up. Get in line. Move over there. Get in line. It's the same voice over and over and over, and it's stupid. They're trying to be these tough soldiers, and it's like, have a nice day. Have a good life. Step in line. Your new life awaits. And it's just so bad. It's so just trite and hackneyed. It's so just the voice acting is just terrible in it. And it's just every time I hear the soldier talk, oh, we got another one over here. I'm going in. It's just, oh my, can you come up with any new lines? Really, it's like the same 5 lines with the same voice.
I just wish that game developers wouldn't, if they're gonna cut corners for money's sake or whatever, even if they're not cutting corners and they're just not thinking about it, stop doing that. Especially with a game that you're intending people to spend many hours with. Just put some money into the voice stuff. That is the most annoying thing about games, is that they're not putting enough importance on voice acting.
It's almost like they tried to do this on purpose. They tried to make this villain sound really cheesy and just like, you'll never defeat me. That's what it's like. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, there was a moment of like okay.
Oh, it's like in the beginning, they're like, hey, look, we blew up the planet and then we gave them half of Oz. Isn't that bad? Like, oh, don't you feel bad for them? And then it's like, oh, but they're really like space Nazis. And it's like, oh, so I shouldn't feel bad for killing them. Oh, but you should because they're being oppressed. Wait, no, they're not. But, but you shouldn't feel bad because they kill everyone they meet. Wait. What the? I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. Fine, I'll just shoot you because your voice is stupid.
Pretty much. It's just, and you don't know whether you should sneak around or just shoot everybody. This game just makes it's just not making. To somebody, it makes sense, and maybe if you're a fan of the series or if you're a developer of the game, you know what's going on. But as someone who's coming into this series cold. I don't think I'll ever buy another one of these again. And I still don't know why I have not ejected and deleted it off my PlayStation to free up some space. I can't put my finger on it. It's almost like this is the first game I bought for the PlayStation, so I kind of feel obligated to finish it. Does that sound stupid?
Kind of. You know what I think? Because I haven't finished it either, and I kind of want to go back to it. I think this is one of the few games that fits into the so bad it's good category. Of, you can watch a really bad movie and enjoy it because it's really bad. But for the most part, you can't do that with games because a really bad game is just, really bad and you don't want to play it because it's not fun. But I think Killzone, I think just the general controls are good enough so that they allow you to experience the rest of the badness of the game very easily and very, nicely. So, because the controls are good, it allows you to ironically appreciate all the badness of the game. And it's like the only game I've ever played that I would describe as so bad it's good.
Nick, you have just made a verbal black hole in which my brain was just sucked.
Mm-hmm.
What?
That logic folded onto itself so hard that it caused a gap in the space-time continuum and just sucked everything out of this room. What?
Isn't that what so bad it's good is? It's a logical black hole.
I guess
no
so.
one should like The Room, but people love The Room.
Corey Wallace says that the guy Jerry Seinfeld voice. You get in line. What's up? What's the deal with airplane food? I want to pick it up too again. Oh, this is such a horrible thing to say. Bad games should not be supported, but I kind of want to pick it up again too.
Because it's so bad, it's good.
I don't believe in that. I mean, there's a certain amount of self-awareness you have to have that if you're going to make a bad game, good.
You believe in that. Has someone who made us watch Tokyo Gore Police?
Yeah. Oh, shit.
But see, Tokyo Gore Police knew what it was doing. It was intentionally being. There has to be a self-awareness of being so bad that it's good. Kind of like Saints Row. Saints Row is so bad it's good. It's absolutely absurd.
Saints Row 4 was really good. I didn't like 3 at all, but the one that we played last year, I really liked that. I wasn't a fan of the series. So whatever they did in Saints Row 4, it was fun to play, and I got it. I didn't get Saints Row 3. The humor just didn't do it for me. The story didn't do it. The gameplay I thought was horrible. In Saints Row 4, everything was awesome. including my chick character.
I know.
Like totally naked. That was.
You could do. I don't understand. You could do that in the first one. I mean, the third. Hey, by the way, I just read this. Did not know it. I guess this is a public service message. If you have Hot Pockets, don't eat them. For more than just the obvious reasons, apparently.
I think I heard something about this.
Yeah, they've been recalled.
For what?
For containing diseased meat, quote unquote, diseased meat.
Wait, all Hot Pockets?
I don't know if it's all Hot Pockets, but it's recalling several batches. Put it that way. Enough that I wouldn't be eating a Hot Pocket these days. I mean, in general,
you can have one and be okay though, right?
Yeah, just don't eat both of them.
Fallout. Like I have one every few days.
Just cook it extra long because the more you microwave diseased meat, the better it becomes
you're
for you.
killing the disease.
Exactly.
So you heat it up.
And if it can survive that much microwaves, it deserves to live.
Exactly.
Some hot sauce on it. That'll kill it.
I'm creating like a disease farm, Diseases are people too.
Hey, I pre-ordered Thief for PS4 on Amazon.
Nick downloaded it last night. Fucker got a review copy.
Yeah, I haven't played any of it though.
Oh, okay.
How do you get these things?
Because he's on that other show, and they actually are making an effort, and I'm not.
What am I doing wrong here?
You're on the GameHounds.
I'm not on the cool show, I guess.
Yeah, no. Here's the deal: is that we are so anti-establishment, we refuse game codes.
Yeah.
I refuse blowjobs.
That's right. I am so anti-establishment. I refuse blowjobs.
You're the rebel, Edie.
I am.
Oh, man. Gingers have no souls.
No, we have none. Actually, we have no time. One of these days. I know I've been saying it for years, but one of these days I'm going to get on that.
I played a little bit on the PC, one of the Thief games back. I think it might even been on the On Live service, is they had it as part of the pack or free, half hour. So I was like, that wasn't too bad. I had a hard time controlling the PC, but I was like, this might not be bad. But on the PS4, I'm thinking it might be pretty cool. So I still got to get back to Assassin's Creed. I know you guys have played it through. I fought the controls so bad.
I don't know why you're even worrying about it. You're going to hate it.
I know.
If you're going to play something you hate, play Killzone and just get it out of your system.
I don't know. There's something that just is beckoning me to finish that game. Just maybe say that I finished it because I hate buying a game and it's like getting rid of it and because it's like.
Have you played the multiplayer, especially the Wolfpack, the co-op
on Killzone?
No. Assassin's Creed.
No, I've only played with you that one time.
Yeah, you should try it again. Yeah, that's right. You went through the tutorial with me. We should play it again. I played some of that with Chaos. Tried to get Nick in, but he wouldn't do it.
When was this?
Okay.
No. I tried to get Corey Wallace in. That's who's in the chat room right now. He wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Don't be always blaming
live
me.
right now? I didn't know we were live.
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, the fucking fuck!
What?
I didn't know we were live.
How did that change anything? But you'd be doing a different
Changes
show?
Everything.
Absolutely, I'd have my live voice on.
Okay.
My live voice sounds like this.
Yeah, I went live because I'm not going to be on later. So I figured it wouldn't hurt. Come on, you love going live. You're the one that's always trying to convince me to go live.
I am somewhat of an exhibitionist, I will say.
Yeah.
Hey, and
but,
Olympic news, of course, Pussy Riot had to get involved somehow over there.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about that?
I heard they got arrested and then they got released.
Well, they got arrested supposedly for shoplifting or something.
Yeah.
Because they weren't getting enough attention, so they had to do something. And then I just watched a video of them getting beat with horsewhips as they were trying to set up and play. I was like, that was awesome.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they pulled all the masks off and they pepper sprayed them and they beat him with whips and threw the
Oh, my God.
That's
like, horrible. Hey, have you seen the pictures of Kiev?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's
Jesus Christ. Kiev is just freaking on fire. I've been watching. Gawker has a live stream from some Ukrainian television station. So I check in with it every once in a while, and it's like, holy shit, what's going on there? They're going knuckin' futs right about now.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're in Kiev, please be safe. It's kind of crazy over there. So, I played but going back to Assassin's Creed, I played the multiplayer. And God, that's such a fun multiplayer when you get good people. If you don't get good people, oh my God, that is such an annoying game. Oh God, there's so many shitty players. And then you find, but the nice thing about it is there's so many shitty players who don't know how to play Wolfpack. And you'll get in with them and you're like, oh God, dude, you cannot jump into a circle of guys and just kill everybody there. I mean, you realize that I'm going to make more points than you. I'm going to beat you and I will kill half the amount of people. And then you finally get lucky and you find just somebody random that comes into your group and that they know how to play. And it's such a little, it's almost like you want to hug. You wish that your characters could hug each other because you're so happy to see them. Like, I want to play with you all night long. Yeah. Because it's so good when people know what they're doing. But if people don't know what they're doing, it is so bad. So, but yeah, Wolfpack. I guess there's new maps in Wolfpack. And in fact, Corey Wallace in the chat room had mentioned, did you know that there are 100 levels of prestige on Assassin's Creed? Did not know that.
That's not surprising, because you can prestige fairly quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, I prestiged, and I never do that in multiplayer games.
Yeah, I have to play some of the competitive multiplayer, just get it over with. It's kind of like a horror game that you have to die a couple times and then it's okay.
I don't know. I still think some of the competitive stuff is really fun.
Yeah, I can imagine the competitive stuff is very fun, but I just have to get used to the idea that people are going to try and kill me.
There is team competitive stuff.
Yeah, and
and that might be easier.
Be doing that. Shall we hit the news?
I've been playing another game.
Oh,
a really good game.
Yeah.
Since I've been watching tons of Olympics, I haven't played a lot of PS4 or PC, but I've been playing a ton of 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing this strategy game called Fire Emblem Awakening.
Mm-hmm.
It's a turn-based fantasy strategy game, and it's really, really good. But what makes it really good is that there's this whole social RPG aspect on top of the combat RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you had a 3DS, I think you would really like it, Edie.
I do have a 3DS.
Because there's something Dragon... Oh, you have a 3DS or a DS?
3DS.
Oh. Then you might enjoy it, because there's something Dragon Age-y about it. So it's a turn-based RPG, so, everyone takes turns. It's tile-based. So, you're looking down at the screen from above, and you're moving your characters along a grid. If two characters line up next to each other and they attack or get attacked, because they're next to each other, they get a bonus. And if they get that bonus, then they kind of start to like each other more.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can foster these relationships between characters by having them fight next to each other on the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
And as the relationship grows, you can kind of get cutscenes where you watch them interact with each other, which is great just because you get to see such very different supporting characters interact with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But if you keep having them fight next to each other and you keep growing their relationship, they'll actually enter into a romantic relationship. And what's great mechanically is that as the characters... So if two people are next to each other and they attack or get attacked, they get like a bonus to their hit percentage. If a third character is next to one of them, then they kind of all three get together and you get a bonus to your attack and bonus to dodge. But if characters have a really good relationship, they'll get both of those bonuses just from each other. So the more characters like each other, if they're next to each other, they get more and more bonuses, like kind of exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I have this archer and knight couple whose relationship is at B status,
mm-hmm.
and they just wreck shit up together. It's kind of awesome. And there was another couple where I had two people block a hallway. So, the hallway was 2 squares across, and I had each of them there blocking the enemy. And so the enemy just kept coming up and attacking them, and I kept killing them. And because, these two people alone kind of held off this wave of enemies, their relationship just skyrocketed really fast. And it's just a fascinating... It lends each game this kind of added layer of strategy, because not only am I thinking about how to... how to best win the battle, but I'm also thinking about how to best maximize the character's relationship.
Right.
But then on top of that, this is a game of permadeath. And unlike most turn-based strategy
I
games,
hate that.
if a character... But what's good about this, I guess, this version of Fire Emblem Awakening, you can actually turn that off. So that's actually a choice you make in the beginning of the game, whether you want to play in this permadeath mode or not. I chose to do that. And what is good is that if your character dies, you can always just reload a save. But what's rough is that in most games like this, if a character's HP gets to 0, they'll faint. And then you'll have 3 turns to revive them, or then they'll die. But in this game, if their HP gets to 0, they are fucking gone. That's it. They're dead. And what's so rough is that all the characters you have are like actual named characters. These aren't random people. Like, every character that you enter into battle with is a character in the story. So if they die, all of a sudden they're out of the story. And it's like, oh my god. So every battle is shockingly tense. And it makes you play really conservatively. But what's also great is that whenever you say you want to attack someone, the game gives you so much information. So you know exactly how much damage you'll do. You know exactly how much damage they'll do on the counterattack. So it's easy to plan out a very complicated, set of steps. So if your character dies, it really is your fault for messing up somewhere along the way, because the game just gives you all the information you need to make educated decisions. But it's a really great game to play, especially during, as I watch the Olympics.
Right.
Because, I can watch someone ski downhill and then,
Play a little.
Make one move, say, I want this character to go to this square. And that's it. And then watch someone else go downhill. But it is one of the best strategy games I've played. And the idea of mixing that romance RPG, literally with the combat, so that romance and combat are kind of the same thing and you're growing both at the same time, it's such a clever decision. It's something I've never seen before, and I really love it.
Nice.
Yeah. So I would recommend that to anyone who wants to play an RPG.
All right.
Just has the RPG.
I will actually, in fact, I pulled out my 3DS right now. And I actually never even set it up for internet. So I was doing that while you were talking. I was listening to you, but while I was doing that, it was also... So I'm going to shut it down. All right. So now, shall we hit the news?
If you want to.
I would
guess.
One more game I did play. I was all excited for the Olympics. I put in NHL 14 on my Xbox 360, and I played USA versus Russia.
And who won?
Nice.
I must have had it on easy. I won 7-2, so USA. Upset. And Russia actually lost today to Finland.
Yeah.
They kept saying, if we get one gold medal, let's be in hockey because it's in Russia. And they didn't even make it to the playoffs.
No, I shouldn't laugh.
Putin is bumming.
Yep.
So yeah, that means we won't play Russia again.
Nope.
I think that was the closest game we've had so far.
Yep.
Yeah, it sure was.
Did you see the female snowboarder, the boarder that got wiped out on the hill? Did you guys see
the
that?
one who broke her back?
Did she break her back?
Yeah, there was somebody, and I think she was Russian, I believe, that ended up broke her back and having spine surgery.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, she got all effed up.
No, this was an American girl, I think.
Okay.
She was doing the qualifying down. It was a snowboarding, but you go down. It's not the half pipe. It's the actual going downhill and going over jumps and going around corners. And I guess you get the best time. You get the best placement for the race, whatever. And she went up in the air and her board spun 90 degrees. And so when she come down, she basically just hit the edge and slammed headfirst into the ground.
Oh, Jesus.
Just went down the hill like a rag doll.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and we just sat there.
One of the earlier events?
The replay was on Sunday afternoon. That's all I remember.
I remember seeing something like that last week.
So it was probably an early Sunday out there in Russia, but she got wrecked. And I guess she got a concussion. That's all she got out of it. Oh my gosh! It just
looked bad.
She went over the jump, and you could hear her scream like something was wrong. And so when she went over the jump, she spun, and you just can't if you're not going down with the board facing like a surfboard, and you don't go down the other way, you just hit and crash.
Yep.
Like,
oh, poor girl.
Yeah, there's been some good Olympics. I usually don't watch the Olympics, but where I've been sick, I've been watching that and skiing. That relay skiing race that took an hour and 20 minutes.
Do you guys hate the news? Is that what it is? Just wondering.
I love the news. But let's talk more about Olympic news. How about movie news?
This is the GameHounds news, the news and commentary of the week in gaming with Game Rating, Holy
about...
Nicola. All right. Yeah, we'll talk about Kiev. We can talk about Kiev too. That's news.
Yeah. No one cares about gaming news, right? Why would they come here for gaming news? That's stupid.
We didn't even get games.
Yeah, we have to talk about snow reports.
We are current
talk
events.
About video game news.
We are current events.
All right, so let's see. The big news in gaming world is the Ken Levine studio is shutting down.
Yeah,
but not. I don't know if you'd call it technically shutting down, because he's kind of made it clear that it's really it's just kind of morphing into something else, and they're figuring on doing something new and different. What's the name of this? I'm having a brain fart.
Irrational.
Yeah, Irrational Games. It's just part of the Take Two. And yeah, they've announced that they are shutting down. They've laid off a bunch of people. They've got just a handful of people that are staying, and that they're working on something else that is a new way of playing games. So it sounds like they might be focusing on more of the capabilities of the consoles, like social capabilities and video capabilities and camera capabilities of both. That's what I'm assuming. That's what I read between the lines. But in the meantime, it means that, that this last bit of DLC for BioShock Infinite is going to be the last bit of DLC. They're just finishing that up and I guess releasing it soon. March, yeah. So that's it. It is over. It definitely points out what a really, in many ways, a shitty industry the gaming is, because, man, there's just no such thing as job security in the video game industry.
Yeah, even when you work for a big developer, for a big publisher that makes a big game that was a successful game or seemingly successful game.
Well, no, because it was delayed and over budget.
Mm-hmm.
At least I did not know that until I read it about Ken Levine, about him shutting down. But I found out since that it was way over budget, and it was delayed a couple of times.
Yeah.
Ow, back.
And they did have to bring in, I think one of the things people point out a lot is that they brought in someone named Rod Ferguson, who I guess is known as like a closer, who's like a guy that you bring in to get this game into shape to ship. Right. Like,
he's a drill sergeant.
Something's going wrong. The deadline is coming up. You need someone to whip this into a manageable product.
He's a fixer.
Yes, a fixer. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In other words, if you see him on your doorstep, your game is not doing well. You're doing something horribly wrong.
There's a interesting article on Gama Sutra, where this journalist Lee Alexander talks about kind of all the things she was told, off the book, and kind of, just hearsay about Irrational leading up to BioShock Infinite and stuff. And it's a lot of people basically saying like, yeah, we kind of don't like working here. The turnover rate's really high. If this game doesn't sell exceedingly well, the studio will probably close in a year.
And they were right.
It's all just kind of, rumor, and none of it's official. So she goes to great lengths to say, take all this with a grain of salt. But, apparently it's, I don't know, maybe BioShock Infinite it's a tough game to make.
Yeah. And the other big news that was more mainstream than the Irrational Games story was that King Interactive, the ones that own Candy Crush Saga, and we haven't really covered a lot of what's going on with Candy Crush, mostly because I like to think of GameHounds as being a Candy Crush free zone. But they've kind of been dicks, pretty much. They trademarked the phrases Candy and Crush, and
I thought it was Candy
and Saga. Sorry. And have gone after a number of small developers. In fact, there was one developer, I read an open letter from him of a guy that's just a small developer, and he wrote an open letter because he was giving up because Candy Crush, essentially, a lot of the things that are in Candy Crush Saga, he did in his own game many years before Candy Crush Saga came out. And they employed these things like the tasty sounds and a bunch of other stuff. And then they went after him for having it in his game. And he said, but I've had it first. And then they did a bunch of machinations, ending up taking all of their prodigious amounts of bajillions of dollars they've got and buying another game. And that essentially made it so that he could no longer argue in front of the trademarks board to keep all these things in his game. So he's just shutting down his game. And he's like, here's your open letter, dicks. This is what you did to me. And you are assholes.
Yeah, King basically bought the rights to this other game that was trademarked before he did his trademark. That way they could use that trademark and argue, hey, look, we have an earlier trademark than you, so you got to get rid of it.
Right, that's what it is. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's devious.
Yeah, yeah. So they...
And, this comes after last week, a developer or someone, like a developer said he took a game to King and showed it to them to have them be the publisher of it, and they turned him down. And then they went to this other guy and said, hey, make a game just like this one for cheap.
Right.
And they went back to the original developer and said, hey, look, this King is asking me to make this game.
Yeah, to backwards engineer your game.
And apparently the game did get made, but then King was like, oh, this shouldn't have happened. We respect trademark and IP, and we'll take it down. But apparently they kind of don't.
No, they don't respect trademarks. They're kind of dicks, and they have filed for an IPO.
What's frustrating is there was, I forget what it was, but it was an article that looked at all of King's games and said, okay, what is this game? And they're all basically Bejeweled, and it's like, hey, look at this one. It's just Bejeweled, but with tons of microtransactions. And this is basically just Peg with tons of microtransactions. And there's nothing actually original about any of the things in games.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of makes it doubly frustrating.
Yeah.
Is that their games are just rip-offs of other games.
Corey Wallace says that King is the John Taffer of gaming. Sort of. Except John Taffer actually is really good. I have a lot of respect for him. I don't have a lot of respect for King. But they have filed for an IPO, and estimates put their value after they would estimates say that after the IPO, it would value the company at $5 billion, which would actually make it worth more than Tootsie Roll, which is kind of funny. But it'd be an alarming amount of money. But I'll say this for the record, Zynga. One word, Zynga.
Yep.
This is the next Zynga. This is they're at their peak. They're going to go downhill very quickly, and they are not going to be able to do well on the free market. So just remember that. Zynga.
I'm looking forward to watching them crash.
I am too, but it's an unfortunate thing that we're going to watch a lot of people crash and burn with them, because people that don't... Well, I think the whole Zynga experience, at least good investors will know that this is a bad idea.
Yeah, because then was it Facebook or Zynga where a bunch of people invested really quick, and then like a day later,
Yes,
the stock went below what it was offering, and people were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, it was, and well, a lot of stuff will do that. Twitter did that too.
Okay.
Twitter's selling not much more over its asking price, and its asking price was artificially low. But so yeah, that's kind of big news in the world of investing in gaming, game industry stuff. And you know that Freedom Cry is out today. The DLC for it's a standalone DLC for Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
That's I want to play that. That sounds neat.
I know, it does too. I want to play it as well. I hate spending money, she says, as someone who spent an alarming amount of money on freaking Rock Band, but oh well. And Mass Effect multiplayer.
Yeah. It is.
Once you pop that original cherry, it becomes very easy to start just spending. International Game Developers Association has issued a statement opposing King's recent Candy Crush Saga trademark filing. By the way, speaking of Candy Crush, it criticized the developer's predatory, quote-unquote, predatory attempt at owning and controlling the words Candy and Saga across all gaming platforms. So the IGDA is weighing in and actually opposing King as well. So they pretty much are I hate, dare I say it, redheaded stepchild of the gaming industry. So yeah, it's everybody. I think that's a universal thing. It's kind of like, dare I say, apologize to you Yankees fans, but it's kind of like hating the Yankees. Everybody hates King. Everybody not King hates the King. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, something else that was very interesting that I read, that there's a sale on Rise: Son of Rome on the Xbox that puts the game at $39.99. That starts tomorrow, which would be Thursday, and it's going to run until February 24th. Now that's not, excuse me, that's not terribly interesting. But according to a series of tweets that have come from the Xbox studio manager, Mike Ibarra, he said, quote, "A lot of people were asking for better deals on our digital marketplace, so we're testing some. This is actually maybe very much a test to see what price drops, what price differences we might see in the future for digital versus brick and mortar spot physical games."
Oh yeah, well, Xbox has been doing that for a while. Like they've had kind of summer sales. Even though their summer sales don't have the same number of games that Steam does, prices have been really competitive. I mean, I bought Dark Souls on Xbox for like $5, which is less than it usually goes for on sale on Steam, which is $7.
Right. But I think that this is a different... Yeah. They're looking at it differently. They're not really looking so much at sales. They're looking at seeing, hey, what's it going to work? How is it going to work? And what's it going to look like if we make digital, first day one digital on the Xbox, a digital download, cheaper.
Oh, you mean make it cheaper?
Make it cheaper than going out to the store and buying it. Like what Goalie always says, if you're not gonna give me a physical copy, why am I paying the same price as if it were a physical copy?
Yeah, because I can't bring it to a friend's house. I can't trade it in. I can't, do anything with it. It's just if I'm gonna buy it and own it outright, and that's it, and I'm done, and I can't share it with anybody, it can't be full price. Right,
and I agree. And because you're when you're buying a physical copy, you are paying for so much more overhead, not just the physical, the boxing and the manufacturing and the putting it in the box and getting, but also the transportation just all of the infrastructure it needs to get that game into
It
your
makes no
hands.
sense. Something that they do not have to transport. They just have to flick a switch and have a computer on.
Right.
Why is that the same price as, like you said, the wrapping and the plastic and the disc and you got a copy in the disc and shipping it and tracking it? I mean, there's way more cost in that than it is in digital, and it's the same price. It's like, well, then go ahead, put out the effort. I'm going to make you ship it to me.
Right.
You know?
And an Xbox is, according to the studio manager, they're saying, look, we're testing this. We're seeing how we want to price these things possibly cheaper as a digital copy than if you bought it in person. Because not only their overhead costs cut considerably, but they're cutting out the middleman. They're cutting out GameStop. They're cutting out Best Buy. It is. It is kind of dangerous. And that's why they're testing it out, seeing what kind of danger and what's the upside downside on this. So they're looking at it.
They could have made an argument way back when, several months ago, last summer at E3, that you would pay full price for the digital game because digital game you could share among your family and your group of friends with their supposedly great family plan.
Yeah.
But remember, they tossed all that when they tossed everything else.
Right.
And that seemed to be tossing out the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah, it very much did. But it looks like that Xbox is testing it out for Xbox One. I really, really hope that Sony might start considering that for its own games. Because I went onto the Sony store last night, kind of looking for something that I could play that I could talk about tonight. And it made me miss the 360. It made me miss the little games. And by little, I mean with a like lowercase L. Like they think Outlast is being indie. Outlast is indie, yes.
They think it's indie, but it is a downloadable game.
Right, but they list it on the PlayStation Store as being an indie game. And yes, it technically is an indie game, but that's like small studio indie. I really, really, really miss the indie marketplace where it was bedroom developers. It was one guy putting out one very small game, Home Run Challenge.
Yeah, that's the thing that hopefully will grow over time as more games come out on the platform.
Yeah, indie's kind of a weird name because when you think indie, you think of the kid in the room or the college kids, banging it out at school. You don't really think of Red Barrels, being indie, even though that. Technically they're not the big, name developers. So,
yeah, it's small studio we've got to really find some new nomenclature. That there's indie and there's indie.
Yeah, there's the small studio and then there's the one guy.
Right, and they're both considered indie in the independent in the world of gaming, and they're really not. They're two entirely different things, and they service two entirely different markets, two entirely different roles in my head. And I just was rolling around that store going, man, I want to buy something, but...
I want to play Mount Your Friends.
Yes! Exactly! Jaeger says you can't download consoles, so they price them the same to avoid pissing off retailers. Exactly. And they're trying to figure out, how much can we piss off retailers if we do this? And how much will it, what's it going to do to the market? How bad is it going to piss off retailers? And if we make a shit ton more money on this, then I don't care if we piss off retailers. If the dollar cost averaging of the pissing off, it makes sense, do it.
Remember that the Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes is coming out.
Say that again. You're cutting out.
Metal Gear Solid Ground Zero. It's coming out on both last gen and next gen consoles, but it's coming out both digitally and on disc, and the digital is $10 cheaper than the disc.
Yeah, see there, that's that testing. They're putting their toes in the water to see how bad the repercussions are going to be, and if it makes sense to do it monetarily. And I'm glad. I hope more of that happens because I think it will work. If you give me a $10 discount on day one, fuck yeah, I'll buy it. But I can't bring myself to pay $60 to pre-order a game on PSN, knowing that A, it's going to take me several hours to download, and B, I'm not getting the same thing. I'm losing something out of the
the only
process.
problem with that is that your hard drive can fill up.
Right.
That's the other thing. Yeah, I mean, we've kind of talked about this, a lot last year when Xbox announced all that. It in theory, it's a good idea. It's just not. It's not. We're not ready for it yet.
I think we're ready for it at a price.
Well, we just need terabyte hard drives.
Yeah, there's got to be a way that
terabyte.
once you spend all the time to download the game, that you can have a physical copy either on a thumb drive or somewhere. Because, like I say, you fill it up. You put 10 games on your hard drive, and you're full right now. Mm-hmm. And that sounds like, oh, well, how many games are you going to play at a time? Well, no, the idea is that how many times have we said, you know something? Let's throw in Left 4 Dead 1 and play. Or, hey, let's throw in Gears of War 2 and play tonight.
True.
And what do you do? It's like, well, I'll tell you what. It's going to take me 3 hours to download one of those games, and I got to delete some other game on my hard. I mean, when you can just put in a disc and be up and running in minutes, you don't want to. Well, but now we can't play Gears of War 2 because one of us doesn't have it downloaded.
Right. We have to wait for you to finish downloading. Oh, it's only going to take me 35 minutes. And that's short. Did I lose you?
No. Wait a second.
All right. Okay. Yeah, as usual.
My always fear is that, like, okay, with Xbox Live, if you delete a game off your hard drive, it still knows you've downloaded it, and you can download again for free.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what if Microsoft goes out of business and Xbox Live gets shut down? Then I can't re-download it, and then I'm just fucked. So it's kind of in your best interest to keep a hard copy on a hard drive somewhere.
That's why you have to pay us. If you want to do this digital download thing, pay us, meaning give us the equivalent of $10 by knocking $10 off the price. Knock $20 off the price. Fuck. If they knock $20 off the day one price, you'd buy digital. No question.
I think depending on the game. If there's a game that I knew I was going to play to death, then yeah.
Yeah, for example, Assassin's Creed.
That $20, that's almost the sweet spot right there. A $10 break, but a $20 break, that's a $20 bill. That's a crisp $20 bill. That's a Jefferson.
Yeah,
bill,
people would flock to that like crazy. So it's finding that perfect sweet spot that is just enough so that they can encourage digital downloads and make us feel better about a digital download without being so much that everybody flocks to digital download and pisses off the retailers. That's what the testing's for. Anybody else, by the way, it's 11:38. I got to go pretty soon. Anybody else have any burning news I want to discuss?
I just found this one thing, and I will circle back around. I'm going to put a link in the chat for something just for you, Edie.
House of Cards Against Humanity?
Yep. It's a real thing.
Okay, I'm pulling it up right now. All right, so tell me more.
It's just a
it's sold out.
About House of Cards.
Oh my God. Dear internet person, last month someone in the in the Netflix marketing department had an epiphany. House of Cards and Cards Against Humanity both contain the word cards. When we got a phone call from Netflix, we enthusiastically agreed that the two products should indeed contain the word cards. 1 month and many brainstorming sessions later, we completed the House of Cards pack. 25 brand new cards about power, politics, passive-aggressive handjobs, and other scenes that we never unsee. That we can never unsee. Sign up here and get a pack for free, one per person, U.S., Canada only. Season 2 comes February 14th. Sorry. Oh, I almost want to download the
PDF.
The PDF just so I could see what these are. Oh, I'll see if I can do it. The white cards. 25 shitty jokes about House of Cards. An origami swan that's some kind of symbol. A homoerotic subplot. Forcing a hand job on a dying man. Ribs so good they transcend race and class. The sensitive European photographer who's fucking my wife. Carbon monoxide poisoning. Discharging a firearm in a residential area. Getting eaten out while on the phone with dad.
Oh.
Making it look like a suicide. A much younger woman. An older man. Strangling a dog to make a point to the audience. A childless marriage. My constituents. Punching a congressman in the face. Black cards. I can't believe Netflix is using blank to promote House of Cards. I'm not going to lie. I despise blank. There, I said it. A wise man said, everything is about sex, except sex. Sex is about blank.
That could go so wrong.
Our relationship is strictly professional. Let's not complicate things with blank. Because you enjoyed blank, we thought you'd like blank. We're not like other news organizations. Here at Slugline, we welcome blank in the office. Cancel all my meetings. We got a situation with blank that requires my immediate attention. If you need to, if you need him to, Remy Danton can pull some strings and get you blank, but it'll cost you. All right. Anyway,
I'm amazed how well they were able to make House of Cards events.
yes.
And that dark humor works real well together.
Yeah. Well, getting eaten out while on the phone with dad. That's a great one.
That's a good one. And what made me surprised, like, you know what? That's right. That did happen.
It did happen.
Rivers good. They transcend race and class. That was a thing.
The sensitive European photographer is fucking my wife. Yep.
Yeah.
That happened.
A friend of mine, actually, I talked to the other day. She said she played Cards Against Humanity with her family. And this is someone I never, ever thought would play anything like this. And she said she was trying to take out some of the worst things. But no matter how many you took out, there was just something worse.
I can't play this with my family. I'd play this with all my friends and my brother, but I don't think I could play this with my parents.
No, I could never. Oh, God, no. No.
Fucking a pig from behind while shooting a shotgun in the air. Shit like that. She's just like, oh, my gosh.
Oh, man. It must be so much fun working at Hearts of Humanity. It really must. I'm just... You just have to question how close that place is to a lawsuit at any particular moment. You know, a workplace harassment lawsuit. Oh, how could you defend that? I mean, I would love to see a workplace harassment suit go to the Supreme Court just because I would love to see the transcript about them trying to explain what Cards of Humanity is to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I would like to see them quote those two. Is there a card about the Supreme Court justices as well?
I'm sure there is. I would just love to see their faces. Man, I would seriously do my best to try and get into that courtroom so I could see their faces when they heard what some of these cards are. In fact, I believe there's one specifically about Clarence Thomas, which would be even more hilarious. The thing is, they don't understand that Cards Against Humanity says all the things that we're actually thinking.
Yeah, it does. Yep. I always think of getting eaten out on the phone with my dad. Go through my mind every day.
I mean, I did that with a telemarketer one time.
Messed up.
Tell me about the cable TV deal again. I can get HBO. And Cinemax for how much? Are you okay, sir? Yeah, no, this
I'm fine.
deal you're
Keep
talking
going.
about,
Keep going. Keep going.
This deal just is unbelievable. It just gets better.
Can you say that again, but slower? No. Faster. Just slower, faster.
Just keep talking, ma'am.
How much do I save with the bundle?
Bundle.
oh, this triple play.
I don't know if I could handle a triple play.
Oh, it was so funny.
Okay.
I think I had DirecTV at the time too, and she didn't sell me on it. I was like, no, you got to do better than that, lady.
This was not worth my time.
No, it wasn't.
I call back, get someone with
I'd give it a 7. We have to go. I have to go to my doctor's appointment, so we have to go.
Yeah, Nick and I will be back. Nick, I'll come back in 15 minutes. I might do short happy endings today.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. I'd like to get into work around.
All right. So
Leave around once. That's good.
let's close this out. You have been listening to GameHounds, episode 251. We recorded this on Wednesday, February 19th, 2014. Once again, if you haven't heard this before, I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, GameHounds.net is our website. If you ever want to email us, gamehounds@gmail.com. You can send us a text by going, and also a voicemail on our text and voicemail line. That goes directly to Goalie. That number is
304-300-9889.
And don't forget our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is updated and curated by the Piss Boy. The Piss Boy puts up all the news that's important for you to know as it happens. So you get a feed on your Facebook of the latest and greatest news pieces when they're happening. That's at facebook.com/GameHounds. Also, if you ever want to watch us play a game, in fact, I'm doing it a lot more now because we've dropped off, and I'm doing it specially with Outlast. Our Twitch feed, twitch.tv/TheGameHounds. Excuse me, The GameHounds. Twitch.tv/TheGameHounds. And, of course, there is the Spreaker cast, and we do this live. Sometimes we do the regular show like this live, but all the time we will do the happy endings after show. And that starts at noon Pacific on Wednesdays at Spreaker.com/TheGameHounds. So you, well, just go to Spreaker.com and you'll find GameHounds. Just search GameHounds, you'll find us. And you can participate in the chat room like Jaeger did today, and Corey Wallace, and everybody else in the chat room. Have to keep this short and sweet. So I gotta go. My PlayStation name is Gamer Edie, GamerEdie. Goalie's is Gamer Goalie, Holy Goalie.
I'm Gamer Goalie.
Gamer Goalie, 2 words. Nick.
One word. So we got Gamer Edie and Gamer Goalie.
Gamer Edie and Gamer. Oh, you're one word as well?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Gamer Edie, Gamer Goalie, and then of course there's Nick. Nick is Evil Alsop, and the EVOLALSOP.
A rebel.
Because he's rebel. Yeah, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't need to follow no English rules. With a rebel hound, man.
And we will talk to you. Now, I will talk to you next week. Nick and Goalie will be talking to you in about 15-20 minutes. So we'll talk to you then. Bye.